Well, we've just come from inside the courtroom here in Manchester, where Justice Yip has delivered the sentence to Scarlett and Eddie, the murderers of transgender teenager Brianna Ghey. 22 years for Scarlett, 20 years for Eddie. When she delivered that sentencing, there was absolutely no reaction from either of the two. Throughout her discussion of what the sentencing would be and her explanation, Scarlett was nervously fidgeting with her hands. Eddie was bouncing his knees up and down throughout today. He's had a puzzle book on his knee with the word relax written at the top. Scarlett has been doodling in a book. But as Justice Yip delivered those sentences, there was no movement, there was no reaction whatsoever, outwardly anyway. Once Justice Yip had finished the sentencing, they were both taken from the courtroom, and that was it. It realistically, they gave no kind of reaction whatsoever for really quite lengthy minimum terms. Of course, we know that they were both, we'd already been warned that they would be given the life sentence, but what they've been sentenced to today is the minimum term that they must serve before they could be considered for release. Now, one of the key words that Justice Yip kept returning to as she spoke this afternoon was rehabilitation. Her hope that both Scarlett and Eddie could be rehabilitated throughout their time in prison. I think more aimed at Scarlett. She continued to say how much work Scarlett would have to do in order to be rehabilitated. Of course, we've heard over the trial and today that Scarlett has continuously showed interest in killing once again, her enjoyment in stabbing Brianna, and I'm sure it's that prompted Justice Yip to enforce just how much work would need to be done. When it came to Eddie, she talked about how he'd passed his GCSEs whilst in custody and will now go on to do A-levels. He's also agreed to speech and language therapy. She seemed almost more hopeful that Eddie would be able to be rehabilitated, but she did say for both of them that she was hoping that despite these lengthy minimum terms that they would be able to go through the justice system, that they are both still very young, both still only 16 years old, that by the time they reach that minimum sentence, they will have been rehabilitated and they can be assessed to see whether or not they're still a danger to society, and if not, there is a chance that they could be released from prison.
And Sophie, may I ask, were Brianna's parents present, and if so, was there any reaction from them?
Both Esther and Peter have been present throughout. They were here completely every day throughout the trial, and they've been here all day today, sat in the courtroom. They didn't really seem to have much reaction. I think we've seen their reactions, obviously, on the steps outside the court once they were found guilty, Scarlett and Eddie. Today, of course, an incredibly upsetting day for them. I spoke earlier about Brianna's father gave his witness impact statement in person, but her mother, Esther, was unable to do so. She was just too overcome with emotion. And unsurprisingly, really, of course, what an incredibly difficult day for both of them and their wider family.